Yeah, this is my only route back up, I think. I'll give it a go. It's a long way down though, isn't it? On this cliff edge. Nah. Hello, and welcome once again to another special walk with me, Terranian, on my journey to the National Three Peaks Challenge. Hello again, and thank you for joining me. We start our walk today outside Isle of Wight Pearl, on the military road on the south of the Isle of Wight. Our windy walk continues all along the south coast today, hugging it as close as possible on the cliffs all the way to the point at the end of Tennyson Down, where we should get a good vantage point of the Needles. We'll continue through Allen Bay, Totland towards Colwell Bay, where the route ends, 20 kilometres away. A nice, hilly, spectacular walk with some amazing views today. It's definitely breezy, but unfortunately the wind from last night sustained into this morning, so it's quite breezy on the first part of this walk, unfortunately. Always a bright side, the waves and the coastline here are amazing. I can only imagine what it's going to be like as I get higher up on top of these cliffs. Quite excited for it. Precarious edge walks seem to be a thing for me at the moment. It's exciting. That wind is fresh, as you'd expect for a December morning. I'm really not upset. I'm not crying. I'm very happy to be here. Even on a morning like this, it's absolutely beautiful. I've just timed the sunrise perfectly, and this is my view. I've got that all the way to the top now, pretty much. This is awesome. What a lovely walk, knowing how prone these cliffs are to slides and erosion. It does make me a little nervous walking this close to the edge, and it's such a shame, but it's just the nature of the ground, the soil, what it's made of. So my route at the moment as I'm leaving the Pearl, I keep calling it the Pearl Factory. I've always called it the Pearl Factory since I was a kid. And it has been around since I was a kid. I think it was the 80s or something. I think the shop or the place opened. It was definitely about when I was a kid back then. But look at this. Look how soft that soil looks. It just looks crumbly, like you could grab a handful and just pull it off. I don't really want to stay here for very long. It just looks like soil. Wet soil at that. Crumbly, like it could go at any moment. I'm right on the edge. I'm actually getting quite nervous about this. With all the rain and everything we've been having recently as well. You know, these are the conditions where it usually happens. Lots of wind, waves, and a lot of rain. Look at that, look how close that path gets. I'm actually going to go around here. I can see a lot of other people have been doing the same. Just a little too nervous to be walking right on the edge there. So it's Isle of Wight Pearl, not the Pearl Factory. Either way, the Pearl Place in the Isle of Wight, on the military road, the famous military road. And the shame of it is, I think it's not too far off becoming infamous in a way. With all this erosion, it's only a matter of time before that amazing road that I've driven on countless times and never get tired of won't be there anymore. And as you can see, it's already eroding. I'm probably 150 metres from the road at this point, but I know there are points further on the route where it's nudging on the road, and you'll be able to see it yourself, how close it's getting. And nothing's going to be done about it. As far as I know, they're just going to let it erode away and the road will be no more. So this beautiful road that just provides another element. I mean, it's like almost an attraction in itself. all the other things to do and places to go on this island, getting there is part of the fun, especially on this road. And, you know, hopefully not too soon, but in years to come, this won't be there anymore. This is probably becoming more and more common. The path itself, you can see literally the path is the edge now where it's eroded. It's just falling away, it's just soil, just crumbling. In fact, I'm walking on cracks here, it's making me a bit nervous. Am I being a wuss? I don't know, but this is turning out to be a little bit of a nervy walk for me already. But adds an element of fun, and it's worth it for the views. Whew. The route just gives me a little respite inland, away from the precarious cliff edge where I get to cross the water, stream I guess, and then back towards the cliffs for the lowest point, or one of the lower points, around Brook Bay. This is the closest so far to where the erosion is. There's the road, and then this is the closest tip here. It's not far, it's 3 meters. Oh wow. Wow, okay. That is the path, the footpath, where it's been eroded away by the footprints or the footfall, and there it's fallen off the edge. It looks fairly recent as well. Some of that soil is quite dark and wet still compared to the soil around it. That is scary, that is the footpath. And then I've shown you the footpath going into the, well, off the edge. But this is almost like active crumbling. I mean, there's having a thrilling walk with some interesting bits and bobs going on, and then there's real danger. This is a lovely walk, but it's probably one of the most dangerous ones, I think. I know I've humped up some mountains and walked along edges and things, but this is like an active, crumbling coastline. Well, on a more positive note, I'm here to train. It's a funny thing, I found some hills to walk up. Cliffs, hills, downs, whatever you want to call it. I'm going up, get those mountain legs going again. Wow, look at that. This is massive. Some of this looks quite fresh. This must be where all the landsliding is probably most evident and spectacular. I mean, it's absolutely massive here. I'm not sure you're getting quite the sense of scale that you should, but this is a very, very large area. It's like a walk in the park. I'm at the top of this little bit now. It's nice. Bring on the mountains. Bring them on. It wouldn't be me if I didn't give you a view of the reward for this little climb. It's pretty much what you've been seeing all the way, which is no bad thing at all. So Compton Bay, go down around and back up on the chalky cliffs, and then down into Freshwater Bay. It's always quite reliable in these conditions for crashing waves on the seawall, so hopefully I'll catch some of that. Again, coming here as a kid, if it was ever windy while we were here, or even as an adult, you know, I'd say to my dad as a kid, or my kids as a dad, let's get in the car and let's go to Freshwater Bay. Let's see if we can see some waves crashing. Rarely ever did it disappoint. What a beautiful morning. Well, if you're feeling brave, there is a way down onto the beach. I'm feeling brave. Yeah, this area is actually looking relatively stable. Famous last words. Right on the edge, it's a little precarious. This is my only route back up, I think. There are ways to climb up. I'll give it a go. It's a long way down though, isn't it? On this cliff edge. Just to show you some erosion, which you've seen already. Nah, another day. Today's not the day, not after so much rainfall recently. Let's not be silly. Onwards. It's always another day. Always another day. Let's continue to Freshwater. Another amazing view of the route I've done so far. About halfway actually at this point. I still haven't got to the Needles yet. I believe that's Yarmouth, just there, if you can see it. Pretty cool vantage point. I think what gives it away is all the boats. It's Tennyson Monument. I think it's about the highest part of the down up here. See the whole of the Western Solent now, apart from Head and Warren just sort of blocking off that view. You've got Hurst Castle and the bays, Tottenham Bay, Colwell Bay. We'll be ending the walk. Mushrooms. So that's just a short little leg now. Have a quick look at the Needles and then make our way back. So we won't be coming so far back this way. Sorry to see the Tennyson Monument. Must have been popular, that guy, Tennyson, to get a hole down on a monument. I think he was. A while ago though now, in the 19th century. I think he was a Victorian poet who, like many, holidayed here and decided to buy a house and live. I think it's just been restored to its sort of original glory, appearance. It's nice and open. Complete contrast to what I was talking about in my last video about footpaths keeping you confined. You know, I could roam anywhere around here, and that's novel, in England anyway. Definitely to the left, where there's so much haze. The sea and the sky tend to blend. It makes me feel like I'm just on the top of the earth. It's surreal. It's been a long time since I've been here, but I've been recommended to go to the old battery because the views are a little bit better. Well, that's a shame. I know it's off season, but it would have been so good to come in here. To be fair, you've probably seen it a whole bunch of times, but one more little look at the Needles Lighthouse and the cliffs wouldn't hurt, would it? Let's see, for you and for me, if I can get something of a vantage point around here, but I'm not hopeful. Well, that concludes my walk along the south coast, and just a little hop round the bays now on the north, or the western, I'd say, the western side of the island. So we leave the spectacular cliffs of the south, and behold the rugged terrain of the western side. Down there, the coloured sands, illuminated by the sun. Quite low this time of year, so it's almost always golden hour, just complementing the beautiful colours there on the cliffs. And you see so many shades. So yeah, it's just a short hop now around here into the park, go through the park, over this other down, Head and Warren, and we're nearly done. Head and Warren now, the final stretch, like I said, the last third. Looks like a short, sharp climb, and then that's it, done. This is really nice up here. It's got that nice combination once again of the terrain and the view. I I've struck gold. I may have been here a couple of times in my life, but I certainly know, I know for certain I've been here once before as a kid. My dad took me and my brother on a walk from Colwell Bay, where we were staying, to Allen Bay Park, through here. Now, some of you watching this may know the exact date and year. I seem to remember, and it's quite vague, late 80s, early 90s. Around that period, there was a fire on top of this area. That's right. Again, I can't remember if we'd walked to see it, but we'd come up afterwards. Memories, just unlocked. Yeah, we came up after the fire and we could see all the scorched, charred, land, grass, bushes, everything. It was quite a sight. It's obviously recovered well, but I mean, we're talking 30 years ago, so of course it will do. This is really nice. Again, looks like lots of different places you can go and explore. Reminds me a bit of the New Forest. The view's not quite as nice there as they are here, with the sea all around. I can see the coastal path where I'm supposed to go, but there's more landsliding going on. I think that happened years ago, because I remember them putting a reroute, an actual paved path, because they kind of looked like they'd given up on ever clearing it. So they put a tarmacked path around it. This place has always reminded me of a desert island, like something from Lost or something. Apart from the groins and the seawall, I guess. Just this bit here, this bay, where there's just, desert island really. It's very cool. Just makes you want to go and explore. I just passed another chine, Widdick chine, into Totland. I'm coming now. The last stretch of the walk along the coast here, nice and relaxed. So from Totland to Colwell, and we're done. Well, that was interesting. In between Totland and Colwell Bay, there's a landslide. It happened years ago, and they'd actually put a paved area around it. But for some reason, it was all fenced off. Just saying you couldn't pass it. But there was no good reason why. Had to circumnavigate it a little bit, going up into the bushes a little, but it seemed to work. And I didn't realise how close that little landslide was to Colwell Bay. And as I speak, I arrive here at the end of my walk. I don't know what it is, but the tide's always in when I come here. It seems to be always in. But it's still lovely here in the bay. A lovely place to stay when you're on the island. And this beach, beautiful and sandy for the most part, when the tide's out. I usually like to go down the end there. It's that building, there's a lot of rocks, boulders in fact. They're quite good to climb. Of course, being out of season means everything's closed. Initially, I thought to end it here and have a nice lunch in the cabin. But yeah, of course, it's closed. Very seasonal. I keep forgetting that. But there's always summer. What am I doing? The beach is that way. I can't walk all this way to Colwell Bay Beach and not have a play. Well, that was an awesome walk. Lots of ups, lots of downs. On the downs, on the cliffs and the beaches. Lots of famous and some infamous and some to me unknown landmarks on this island. I hope you've enjoyed that and that's satisfied your desire for the outdoors for now. until the next one, on which I hope you join me. So that's it from me. I'll leave you until the next one. Laters.